So Konami might have just done something very strange, because usually when a goalkeeper looks this good in eFootball, you already know what's coming. A 150 player box, a Showtime pack, or some ridiculous coin requirement. But this time, Konami said something different. They said, here, take him for free. And the player we're talking about is none other than David De Gea, a 103 rated goalkeeper, for free. So the real question becomes, did Konami just give us an overpowered goalkeeper? Or is there something we're missing? Let's break it down. First, let's talk about his goalkeeping stats, because that's where things start to look a little scary. This De Gea comes with 97 GK awareness. Now, if you've played eFootball long enough, you know GK awareness is one of the most important stats for a goalkeeper. It determines positioning, reaction to shots, and how quickly the keeper reads danger. And 97 awareness means he's basically always in the right position. Then you look at his 96 reflexes. That's elite. Reflexes determine how quickly the keeper reacts to close-range shots, rebounds, and sudden changes of direction. So when someone fires a shot from inside the box, De Gea has the reflexes to instantly react. And that's exactly the kind of stat that wins you matches. Then we look at GK parrying, 93. That's also very important, because when a goalkeeper can't catch the ball, parrying determines how well he pushes the ball away from danger. A bad keeper will parry the ball right back into the striker's path. But with 93 parrying, De Gea should be able to push shots away from goal instead of gifting rebounds. Now let's talk about GK catching, 90. This is another very solid stat, because it means when the shot is manageable, he'll actually hold the ball instead of spilling it. And if you've played eFootball recently, you already know how frustrating spilled rebounds can be. So having a keeper that actually catches the ball cleanly is a huge advantage. Then there's GK reach, 90. Reach determines how far a goalkeeper can extend when diving for shots. And with 90 reach plus a height of 192 centimeters, De Gea has the physical presence to cover a lot of the goal. That combination makes him very difficult to beat from distance. But stats aren't the only interesting thing about this card, because Konami also gave him a special skill, GK directing defense. And this skill basically improves how the goalkeeper organizes the defense around him. It helps defenders react faster to danger and maintain better positioning, which means De Gea isn't just stopping shots. He's actually helping your entire defense stay organized, and that's something many players overlook. But there's another detail that makes this card interesting. His playstyle. This De Gea is an offensive goalkeeper. Now that might sound weird at first, but it actually matters a lot in eFootball. Offensive goalkeepers are more aggressive. They rush out of the box faster. They close down through balls earlier, and they can stop counterattacks before they even become dangerous. In the current eFootball meta, where players love sending through balls behind the defense, an offensive goalkeeper can be extremely valuable because he acts almost like a sweeper keeper. But now we need to ask the real question, is this card actually overpowered, or is the hype getting a little out of control? Because if we look at the stats carefully, there are a few things worth mentioning. His jump is 82, which is good but not insane. His physical contact is 75, which means he's not the strongest when colliding with players. And his balance and stamina are fairly average. Now these don't matter as much for goalkeepers as they do for outfield players, but they can still affect certain situations. For example, when dealing with aggressive strikers during corners. However, even with those small limitations, there's no denying one thing. For a free card, defensive monster, this De Gea looks extremely strong, because usually goalkeepers with stats like this are locked behind coin packs. And yet Konami decided to make this one accessible to everyone. But there's one more thing we should talk about, and that's expectations. Because sometimes when a free card drops, the community instantly calls it the best in the game. But performance in eFootball isn't just about stats, it's also about animations, AI behavior, and how the player feels in actual matches. So while De Gea looks amazing on paper, the real test will always be in gameplay. Still, it's hard not to be impressed. A 192 centimeter goalkeeper with 97 awareness, 96 reflexes, and 90 plus in almost every key stat, all given to players for free. That's not something we see every day in a football. So maybe the better question isn't, is this goalkeeper overpowered? Maybe the real question is, why did Konami make him free in the first place? Because if this De Gea performs even half as good as his stats suggest, a lot of paid goalkeepers might suddenly start looking a little unnecessary.